Yes, now bless now people. Don't forget to rest now. There's ROCKSTEADY, King of the Pit TV. I mean, we weren't pitting on this one, and I hope nobody ever does pit, because, nah, we don't want to be pitting to this guy. Unless he takes a, unless he starts throwing a couple of blast beats in the next record that I don't know about. Gus Dapperton. The album was called Orca, 10 tracks. We just listened to it in its entirety, and this is going to be a review of that album. It was devoted to my friend Michael, who recommended it on the Patreon. He said, check this out, bit of singer-songwriter for you. I don't mind a little bit of singer-songwriter, you know. Generally speaking, we do metal and punk on this channel. That's not to say that we don't do singer-songwriter. It just tends to be the niche. It's actually a fantastic and brilliant change from the norm when we do get an act like this, because I like pop music, and I like songwriters. And this guy can put a bloody good tune together. We did a little bit of research through the record, because I've never, ever come across this dude in my life. So I was fascinated to see what I could source. I didn't go out of my way. We were just talking about it along the way. But I was curious as to what the label was. I know at the very least now, because he did a Fleetwood Mac cover, I believe, and that was put out by Warner Records. So at some point, if not at this point, it sounds like at this point, but if not, like the years we reside in now, he's signed under Warner, which is mainstream. He's literally mainstream artist. And that got me questioning, was there co-writers involved on this record? Because I'm a skeptical. I'm a skeptical, and I'm a pessimist, and I think as soon as the mainstream has a hand in it, there includes a lot more cooks in the kitchen, you know? And sometimes it can be problematic, but whomever wrote this song, if it was Gus Dapperton who wrote these tunes, he's a bloody good songwriter. He was writing pop songs, generally speaking. He was writing singer-songwriter music, but, and I'm speaking overall here, it was unique. There was a unique value to it. I mean, you can't reinvent the wheel. Good songwriting is good songwriting. And if you write a good song, geez, it's hard to be original. It's hard to be unique. But this music was. Some songs more than others. But generally, the guy can write a flipping good hook, can write good motion and good phrasing, good schemes in the writing, just speaking purely on the lyrical content. And I'm not a lyrical guy. I tell you time and time again, don't worry, I don't pay attention to the lyrics and all this and that, because I'm too busy involved in the instrumental. This guy switched it up for me a little bit on this record. I liked it. His vocal style was cool. It seemed like, we had a few different approaches at how he performed the song by song. There wasn't like a uniform tone to his voice. Instrumentally, it was pristine. Some songs were better than others, and more so down to it structurally speaking. There were a couple of songs which deserved good hooks, good melodic, higher register chorus sections, more audacious chorus sections, because I know that he could do that purely because we've heard it in other songs, and some of them sort of fell a bit weak on that regards. I felt like some could be more elevated, but the people liked him. It was just a matter of taste. I'm not going to sit here talking about the aesthetic of it all, because generally it's just all about the music, and the music was really good. But aesthetically, I feel like there's a little bit of a character put on. You know, there's a fair few music videos here, and I think there was a little bit of dressing up, which detracts from, some may say that's the role of an artist, to perform and act in this grand play and be this grandiose character, but there comes a point where, and I've been there, I've been that guy. I mean, not to the degree of this guy. I wish I had a smidge of the Well, first and foremost, success. Second to that, let's go forth and say talent, because I wish I could write a song like this, dude. I've been there where it's just like, oh, let's put the glasses on, let's put a sparkly jacket on, let's peacock for the sake of it. I think there's a bit of that going on. The earrings and the this and that. I think a more organic value to the aesthetic would suit me. But I'm not his target audience. I'm not his target market. Of course, I'm not. But I think this was very professional. I think this was very mature, musically speaking. And I will rate this record I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I could listen to this record a couple of times over and bump it to a 7.5 probably, because I think there's a lot of replay value, there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of, once you get to know these songs, I'm sure they mean 1,500 times as much as when you listen to it the first time. But let me be real with you. I'm a judgmental guy, and I find it very hard to submerge myself in music where the artist is younger than me, to be honest with you. That's just the way it is. I'm critical like that. That's just the way it is. That's the way my brain works, all right? If this guy was writing songs when he was 40 years old, looking like Hulk Hogan, I'd probably think, yes, come on then. But it's just not the case. Anyway, with that being said, thank you very much. This was recommended on Patreon by my friend Michael. Michael, thank you for putting me onto this. This was great. I've still got a couple of the hooks in my head. Do you know? The last song, Swan Song, absolutely fantastic. Whilst I'm here, I'll say Medicine was probably my favourite tune. Fantastic number. Antidote was a fantastic number. Posthumous was a fantastic number. And Bottle Opener was a fantastic number. Fuck it, I'll give it a 7.5. I'll give it 7. I can't give props to so many individual tracks and not give it a bump up. I rarely do that. Yeah, great tune. I'm signing out. Peace.